Now, moments away from the start of the 2011 Around the Island Powerboat race, we had 3 late scratches but 2 late entries. But much of the buzz this year has centered around the 4 entries in the S-Class. I mean, a major drag race is expected in super calm conditions completely around the 60 nautical mile course. The S-Class involving some of the favorites, Anthony and Andy Stoneham, Kareem Johnson and Jermaine Butterfield. Butterfield being last year's champion, but stepping it up a notch this year, along with Ricky Souza Jr. and Stephen Bridges. But let's not count out Derek Seymour and Shakai Easton. It's going to be a heck of a race around the island. The Thundercats have just pulled out from Ferry Reach here. Unfortunately, 207, Trevor Wade and Thomas Phillips pulled out. Starting moments ago, T321, Dominic White and Kenny De Silver. Pulling out also is Mark Lightbourne, but you have Brian Lightbourne and Kenny Matthey in T5, a red Thundercat, and in T27, Jonathan Goggin, orange and black with Harless Lima. And the A-class entries, as you look in the distance, are under the starters' orders, and should be approaching the start-finish line momentarily. A-class competitors, Sean Dickinson and Angela Dickinson, A1, A30, Chris Warboys and Steve Sherwin, Silvercraft, A98, Gregory Folk and Gregory Simons, orange and black. So here come the 3 A-class entries along with the accompanying jet ski. But here you see the orange boat there. Jonathan Goggin and Harless Lima really getting a good start, followed closely by Sean Dickinson and Angela, and then A30, Chris Warboys and Steve Sherwin. Really great start there by Jonathan Goggin and Harless Lima. Lima was telling us that he didn't anticipate this sort of conditions here, completely calm on the North Shore and the South Shore. So the A-class is now hot on the heels of the Thundercats, who are now, no doubt, well on their way up the North Shore and into Hamilton. We'll tell you about some changes that have taken place this year also. The boats will not go inside of 5-Star Island. We heard during the drivers' meeting that they are to pass on the right side of 5-Star Island, so it's going to be interesting. Anybody who goes on the inside will be disqualified immediately upon arrival back here at Ferry Reach. So Thundercats and A-class entries out on the course. Next up, the B-class for this 60 nautical mile race around the island of Bermuda. We'll tell you more about the records as the race progresses. The 4th class, which will be the FB division, are now just sitting there waiting for Commodore Brian Sharkey Smith to raise the flag. But in the meantime, B707, Mark Selly and Jordan Every came up a little early for their start. We thought the directive was to turn around and go back and start over, but maybe because of a gas issue, they opted to continue and go straight out of the pylons and are no doubt well on their way up the North Shore. And here we go, the FB division. 1, 2, 3, 4 competitors. FB 16, Chris Roque and Heather Roque. FB 111, Stephen De Silver and Brandon De Silver. FB 4, Jamal Williams and Rodney Denbrook. While FB 55, Tonka Simpson and Seth Cletty. Oh, this is going to be a good one here. And watch closely as they go out the pylons. Last year, it was Stephen De Silver and Brandon De Silver in their craft FB111 that was really tearing up the water last year. I ran into an unfortunate bit of swells just outside the pylons near Bailey's Bay Cricket Club. And in speaking with them prior to this year's race, they are really delighted not to see 3, 4, 5 foot swells outside the pylons. But the FB class are now on course, and here comes the next group. It's going to be the D class entries. D33, David Selly and Andrew Osborne, yellow and black craft. D13, Bobby DeCosta and Chris Wells, silver and red. D25, Graham Sutherland and McNeil Wilson. D8, Perry DeSilver and Francisco DaCosta. D267, Kevin Miners and Quincy Dowling. D187, Stephen Eversley and Brendan Frank. And then, of course, D48, Eamon Morris and J.C. Morris. The Commodore has raised the start flag once again with the stock D class leaving approximately 4 minutes ago. Now the remainder of the D class, 4 entries out there. And they're getting underway. D187, D25, D13 also. So D13, Bobby DeCosta, Chris Wells. 25, Graham Sutherland, McNeil Wilson, and there's 324 coming up in the back there. E324, Kenny Mills and Reggie Methy. It has now been 17 minutes, just under 20 minutes, that the opening class, the Thundercats, took off out of Ferry Reach here, so they are, or should be, well on their way up into the Five-Star Island area, or into Hamilton, coming out of Hamilton, heading towards Five-Star Island. And it's going to be really interesting to see how the A-class entries reel in the Thundercats, and also how FB111, Stephen DeSilver and Brandon DeSilver, how that awesome machine of theirs can also hold out in these conditions, because if she's running really good this year as she was last year, it could be a boat to watch and make it real difficult for the 4 big S-class entries to reel them in during the latter stages of this 60 nautical mile race. And we now have 5 C-class entries approaching the starting line very quickly. C4, Henry Tolbert and Howard Ascento. C50, Stuart Dorham, Henry Trott. C17, John Scrooge Edness and Aaron Anderson. C32, Craig Nisbeth and Dennis Trott. And C69, Sean Butterfield and Jermal Woolridge with a camera on board. And C4, really off to a flyer, Henry Tolbert and Howard Ascento. And C32 bringing up the rear there, Craig Nisbeth and Dennis Trott. All now approaching the pylons. And we have another craft here approaching the start line. Looks like C17, John Edness and Aaron Anderson, having problems at the start. John Edness and Aaron Anderson, difficulties as the remainder of their class are now screaming out of the pylons and up the North Shore. Just shy of 25 minutes since the Thundercats departed Ferry Reach, and we are awaiting for the 4 S-class entries and the 1 lone P-class entry. You can see that the drivers are itching and inching closer to the start line, because the anticipated hook between Andy and Anthony Stoneham and Kareem Johnson and Jermaine Butterfield is now only moments away. The points leader being the Stonehams, so they get preference heading out of the pylons. But watch out for S18, and then you can't count out Ricky Souza Jr. and Stephen Bridges. They are part of the record holders, Ricky Souza and Stephen Bridges, 34-32 in 2006. But It's also shared with Derek Seymour and Andy Stoneham, 33-36 in 2008. And here they go. The flag is up as an airplane lands here at Ferry Reach. The two big boys are out front. The yellow boat being S22, Andy and Anthony Stoneham, while the white tips there, S18, Kareem Johnson and Jermaine Butterfield. So, and that's the way they're going to start here at Ferry Reach. So the race is on. And let's see who gets out the pylons, who's going to give way, but the battle is on as P11 comes through. Philip Correa and Cameron Harris with those twin 300s back there. They can't be ruled out also. It would be something if they could emerge as the spoiler here. But here they go outside the pylons. The two big boys in the S division. Clearly through the pylons. And the race is on. The talk is over. Pedal to the metal here at Ferry Reach.
You're watching Round the Island Powerboat Race 2011 on BSN.